18 USC 10, subsection 1018, official certificates or writings. Whoever, being a public officer or other person authorized by any law of the United States to make or give a certificate or other writing, knowingly makes and delivers as true such a certificate or writing containing any statement which he knows to be false, in a case where the punishment thereof is not elsewhere expressly provided by law, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year, or both. The means of knowledge, especially where it consists of public record, is deemed in law to be knowledge of the facts. As the means of circumstances, knowledge, if it appears that the individual had notice or information of circumstances which would put him on inquiry, which, if followed, would lead to knowledge, or that the facts were presumptively within his knowledge, he will have deemed to have had actual knowledge of the facts, and may be subsequently liable for any damage or injury. You, therefore, have been given knowledge of the facts, as it pertains to this conspiracy to commit fraud against me and my family. Notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent. I do not require entrance into a foreign jurisdiction. I reserve all God-given unalienable birthrights forever without prejudice, and I reserve the right to amend this order to cease and desist and notice of rescission due to fraud as necessary to preserve the truth. If anyone given notice by this order to cease and desist and notice of rescission due to fraud presents information that controverts, overcomes this order to cease and desist and notice of rescission due to fraud, and advises me in written affidavit form within 5 days from receipt, proving with particularity all requisite actual evidentiary facts and all requisite actual laws, that this order to cease and desist and notice of rescission due to fraud is substantially and materially false, sufficiently to change materially my factual declarations, otherwise your silence stands as tacit consent and approval of all the factual declarations made herein being established and as fact and as matter of law. So, just side note, the reason that I actually pleaded guilty, even though I went to court and there was never any prosecutor, because they did give me silence and therefore tacitly gave consent and approval, it is because I lived with certain people who did not understand nor approve of my behavior, which was standing for my rights instead of just accepting a plea deal and bending the knee to a very tyrannical regime which was in violation of all of my rights, yeah? So they forced me to go to the courtroom, even though they had silently acquiesced, okay? They had agreed and given consent and approval that all the factual declarations made herein being established as fact and matter of law, right? So I just shouldn't have showed up, but that wasn't an option in my physical reality, unfortunately. So this conspiracy sometimes will go much bigger than the government and external policing force. Sometimes it actually enters into your own family because they want you to just conform. They want you to just be under control, okay? Which is a bummer. Moving forward, the claim, officers are public servants, not our masters, and Officer James is an employee of the City of Sydney Police Department, and for the record, I am not, and that is a conflict of interest, and I consider it to be an organized crime, gangbang, and Officer James is knowingly conspiring with the City of Sydney Municipal Court, USC Title 18, Sections 241 and 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, as redacted, is a public servant whom has consented to be governed. That's from 5 CFR 2635.101, subsection A. And this is human trafficking. Black's Law Dictionary, 2nd edition, defines undertaking as a promise, engagement, or stipulation, each of the promises made by the parties to a contract considered independently and not as mutual, may in this sense be denominated an undertaking. Undertaking is frequently used in the special sense of a promise given in the course of legal proceedings by a party or his counsel, generally as a condition to obtaining some concession from the court or the opposite party. Here's a fun little, cartoon, the illusion. You got left or right, you got the illusion of choice, but it both leads to the slaughterhouse, right? Consent to be governed, go left. Non-consent to be governed, go right, right? Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan. All codes, rules, and regulations are for government authorities only, not human or creators, in accordance with God's laws. All codes, rules, and regulations are unconstitutional and lacking due process, okay? So remedy is 12 CFR, subsection 226.15. On and for the record, your offer to contract is not accepted and is refused for fraud, and me, myself, I, Andrew, am not, in fact, a person, an employee of the U.S. corporation, the state of Montana, the state of North Dakota, nor the city of Sydney. And if you think I am, produce your evidence on and for the record immediately. And wherefore premises considered, Andrew demands this case be dismissed immediately with prejudice in the spirit, letter, and intent of the law and in interest of justice. And the fictitious plaintiff has failed to state a claim in which relief may be granted as per the federal rules of civil procedure 12 subsection B subsection 6. So this is my certificate of service. This certifies a true and correct copy of the order of cease and desist and notice of rescission due to fraud has been served by me, myself, I, Andrew, upon the City of Sydney Municipal Court and the State of Montana this 30th day of November 2022. Verification, this confirms I, me, myself, did make, sign, and seal this order to cease and desist and notice of rescission due to fraud executed this 30th day of November 2022, I declare or certify, verify, or state under pains and penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that the foregoing is true and correct pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1746 subsection 1. And then I gave my signature. There it is, the North Dakota Republic. Thank you so much. I hope this was effective for you, and God bless America.